Welcome to Y11 Audio. I'm Alex Alvarado. Thank you for listening. It is game week. It is week 1. It is UMass week. On Saturday, it'll have been 252 days since the last time EMU played a football game against somebody else. No, we're not going to talk about what happened that day. Yes, we will talk about what hasn't happened yet. That's the whole point of a preview. UMass week, EMU plays at UMass, at McGurk. Yeah, I'm not going to promise you it's going to be a fun one. I never said that, it's going to be a fun game. Nope. Sorry, I'm not going to tell you that. It could be. It could end fun. I'm not going to tell you that during the whole game that you're going to be very, very happy. And I don't know what colors you're going to be wearing, but I am telling you the truth of the matter is that you're not going to watch a fun one. You will watch EMU at UMass, and you will get whatever rocks just land in your eye throughout the game, because that's just the kind of debris that just gets kicked up between these two sides, especially since Don Brown retook over his old program. Such a unique football program that UMass is choosing to go to the MAC. But wow, years of stuff that I don't 100% get with UMass because I don't have any family that are related to Massachusetts lawyers, so I'm so far out of the loop on that one. But UMass coming to the MAC next year, a proper fit, unfortunately. It is so unfortunate, and it is not going to be fun. For as positive as I wanted to be about the whole situation, and I think I don't know where I ultimately fall, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely not going to be an automatic upgrade, but it's definitely an opportunity for an upgrade if everything else goes right. If UMass starts soaring in the right direction, and if EMU continues to ascend, and if EMU finally clinches, some sort of MAC title to really get some cachet to its name, then this is kind of one of those series that's going to have more value within the MAC. Probably not nationally, because we're talking about EMU and UMass. This is a series that would take a lot to get a lot of people's attention from whatever they're doing on Saturday, the opening Saturday of the year, to tune into this one on ESPN Plus at 3:30. That's going to be really, really difficult to do, but not impossible. Not impossible. Highly improbable, though. UMass week coming at you on a Thursday. We're going to have new episodes here on Y11 Audio this season, Thursdays and Sundays. Sundays is going to be the hard one for me, honestly. But right now, the plan is to just be knocking on wood, figuring it out, and doing it anyways. Thursdays, Sundays, coming at you through this microphone, or next week when I'm on the road, giving you a little bit of a little correspondence in a different time zone. At that point, I'm gonna just go through my cheapo built-in mic on my laptop, writing on Y11.com. We're going to expect a lot this season. Previews, reactions after the game picks, my Never Ever Gamble on the MAC series, which I'm going to finish writing this week's post here in a little bit. And then the day before the games, I think that's pretty much what I'm going to run with it. A few players that'll define the upcoming game. Some easy posts, but also a lot more between those. So definitely, if you like this kind of stuff, if you like supporting independent journalism for EMU football of all things, Y11.com. Speaking of which, a comment, and this is going to go into my community interest notes. Derek, just curious how Drew Vioto is looking in camp. Did Cole Snyder get a nod because of the experience? That's just a comment left on the website, Y11.com. How did he look? You know what, man? From the pictures that I saw, nice hair. Really, really nice hair. Looked really, really comfortable out there. Looked like he got a number change. I don't think that he wants to rock number 13 forever, but I think he and wide receiver out there on the other side, blanking on the name right now. Why am I doing this? Jamarian Wheeler. I get confused with like a lot of like the cornerbacks and like all that stuff, just like because of like where they're transferring from and like a lot of junior college guys to keep up with like similar numbers. Anyways, he and Jamarian Wheeler, who wore number 13 last year, they switched numbers on the roster. So Jamarian's going to be wearing number 7, and Drew Vioto's wearing number 13. If your question is, are we going to see Drew Vioto this year, and is he going to push Cole Snyder for playing time? If that's what you're asking, I'm looking at, how do players, right before the season, they know their assignments, they have a idea of like how much everyone's going to play as long as people stay healthy, this, that, and the other. Guys that are getting, that are like seniors and like are going to get like the playing time. This is like not just an EMU thing. I'm not telling you like what happened or anything. I'm just telling you how football works. Generally, when it comes to those kind of rosters that, okay, these are the guys that are getting playing time. They're going to get the, hey, would you mind trading with me? Would you mind trading a number with me? Look at Cole Snyder, too. He came into the roster. He had to wear number 10 officially, and then was able to trade with Jeremiah Salem, number 15. There was an or next to him, but now Drew Vioto is wearing the number that I don't think he really wants to wear moving forward. And Cole Snyder is wearing the number he wants to wear moving forward. So that is kind of how I'm reading it. Just only looking at the roster sheet. That's it. I'm only looking at that. I'm not looking at camp because guess what? These eyes are crying out to watch some camp. These eyes cry every night for camp. But no, I haven't watched any camp. No, I'm not going to pretend like I've been there at practices and stuff. I know that's not like ideally what you want out of me or a lot of like Mac Media. But yeah, let me know when you run into the Mac writer who has actually been to like every camp practice and all that stuff, or even most of it for their representative school. I'm not trying to talk smack, but I'm just telling you, like, I don't, Eastern's not going out of their way to like really invite media to camp. A lot of schools at this level are also not going out of their way to invite everybody to camp, and not everybody wants to see, or I should say not everybody wants to see, not everybody, gets to see what happens at like Appalachian State's practices or Boise's practices. So just keep that in mind. Like a lot of this, is kept away from my view and media's view. So I can't tell you how Drew Vioto looked. I can tell you where he looks on the 2 deep, and I don't see his name. Not to say that he can't play into it, not to say that he's not skilled enough, and I'm not to say that he can't grab a number back. But I'm saying that I'm just not going to expect to see Drew Vioto this season. It's just too soon. It's just one of those things where Cole Snyder didn't come into this school or didn't transfer here, and the situation was, okay, now you have to battle out like 4 or 5 guys or however guys like they're rotating in through the program. No, I'm pretty sure there is an understanding. I'm just pretty sure there's an understanding. Yeah, you have to be better than all of them, but that's also why you're here. So Drew Vioto, Jay Stuckey as well. Like let's include him into the mix too, just because there is a 1-year difference between the two. That in my mind does not mean that Jay Stuckey is automatically QB4 here, right? I think that both of those guys have a chance to, they're playing at the same level. They have to show the same level of wowness to the coaching staff before they get their chance on the 2 deep, let alone the game field. So patience. I think that he's going to end up being, he could end up being a very promising quarterback. I know that his arm is something that, we just want to drool over and want to see those bombs on the field and stuff. But I don't know if he's even, I don't know. I haven't seen him, so I'm just not going to assume that he's good, great, terrible, anything in between. I can't really do that. You can hope for the best, though. You can definitely hope for the best. So, yeah, to answer your question, I agree. I'm also curious on how he was looking at camp. But, yeah, I definitely think, like, the experience gave him the nod, not only to win the starting battle, but to, come transfer here. One of the storylines entering this week, there's a lot that center around EMU. There's a lot that'll just center around UMass, too. There's a lot that just center around football as a whole. That's what I'm just going to go with right now. We're not going to make this too terribly long of an episode. I don't want to make these so long of episodes. I'm really good about rambling on. But I definitely want to, I don't know. I'm editing my own stuff, man. I gotta get these down to like 30 minutes, like at max. Some storylines entering the week, though. The one that we're going to focus on, it's one that wasn't asked to every coach around the country this week, but many were asked, including Chris Creighton, including Don Brown, including Chuck Martin. No, not about the stealing players stuff, which, like, that's probably an audio clip I probably should have got to. But no, it's the continuation of professionalizing college sports, not just through rules around like money and like the game outside of the game, but the game within the game rules. Not just clock management. I don't really want to get into that. That's just kind of boring to me. But what's going to be interesting, because you can like actually see how these guys react to these things, and you will be able to see how it affects the game in real time, right? This is when everybody, including these teams, are going to really find out how this affects them. It's the headset to helmet communications, right? It is coaches speaking into their microphones, that's delivering a voice into their ear. Obviously, that'll stop at the 15-second mark on the play action clock. I almost said the shot clock too, on the play clock. You would think that with this stuff, the knee-jerk reaction from me assuming, I don't know what, out of some of these coaches, and these are coaches that are, none of these guys are 40 years old, right? So I did pick a couple older coaches, but I did pick older local coaches that were asked about it, and I'm not about to go through like 100 press conferences. I did go through like 6 or 7, so I'm coming away with these 3. Anyways, here's Chris Creighton's response to just that.
And then the coach to player, we feel good about that. We've practiced it, every day, with the system that we have and whatnot. And I think that it's worked well. Sometimes in practice, it's hard to shut it off at 15 seconds. So some of the conversations probably go longer than they will in a game. But yeah, that's definitely different. I personally think that it just cheapens it some, the coaching, right? And tell people what to do versus coach them, get them ready. But it is what it is, and that's how we're going.
Here's Don Brown on it.
I want to go a couple things about college football writ large. Will you be having electronic communication between the quarterback and the sidelines this year, since the FBS is allowed to do that? Okay.
I'm not going to tell you.
How about, I was really curious though about the time still. No timeouts, on first downs.
Been practicing it.
And I was wondering how.
Doesn't seem that hard. I mean, it just hasn't been that hard. Now, the thing for us, this is staying here, right? Mm-hmm. Is, we're multiple. I mean, we play a lot of packages. So, in the packages that we have, the guy that's in essence the play caller or play receiver is in all packages but one. So when we go to that one, you'll see me go to a signal. Because that's the one, we're not going to simplify. So the answer was, and then give him the call, and then very next play, 72 Eagle, so.
And Chuck Martin on it, who always, kills it.
For us in Cal, like, we do whatever the NFL does. So they've got these head things. So, like, I hate it, but so we got to do whatever they do. So, but we don't huddle. Like, if you huddle, it changes the game. In the NFL, they huddle. Everybody huddles. You tell the quarterback, he tells the team, they break the huddle to go play football. Like, the whole idea that this is going to stop sign stealing, all that rigmarole, that's laughable. Like, people write articles about it. Like, yeah, this is going to, like, no, it's not. We're still going to have to signal the plays to everyone else. So it really doesn't, like, yes, it's nice, going to be nice to communicate to your quarterback some, up till 15 seconds, but the rest of how you operate on offense, like, I've talked to NFL guys that have coached in college and coached the NFL, and they've all told me the same thing. Like, yeah, when I was, I don't know, it's going to affect you guys much other than you talk to your quarterback a little bit between plays, like, and I got a pretty big mouth, and I can usually yell out stuff to him anyways. But the whole deal is, like, we're still signaling to everybody else. Like, he said, now, if you're going to go to huddle, it'll totally change the game. Like, that's different. But if you're not planning, most colleges, I don't think, are planning on huddling. So it comes down to it's a little bit much to do about nothing. And I don't like because it keeps taking the coaching out of the game. Like, we got these stupid iPads on the sidelines now. We can talk to the quarterbacks. What's next? We go out there and play the game for them? Like, you don't want that. I'm a terrible player, I don't want to check out my 1988 Milliken film. You won't want that. But, I mean, that's where the game's getting this tech. We love technology, and everybody's all excited about the iPads. I was the only coach in the country to vote against them. Like, well, I don't want iPads. I want to – the old days, you actually watch the action, figure out what's going on. You had to go make adjustments. You don't get, like – I can get a 9-year-old kid to watch the play on iPad and say, listen, that guy was running wide open up the seam. We should cover him, right? Like, there's – so – all the technology, it's smart by the technology people that sell it, and, like, but I hate all of it. So
Coach,
I used to like when you had a coach, not a coach. I got an iPad. I could watch every single play right after it happened. Like, you used to have to make in-game adjustments. Now just the iPad will make them for you. Pretty soon there'll be robots on the sidelines. You only have to hire us. So you'll be talking. You won't even be talking to me. It'd be great. Oh, this is great. This technology. Like, we'll have fake officials, fake players. It'll just be like playing NCAA 25. And play a video game.
He definitely cussed, right? Thank you, EMU, UMass, Miami, for press conference audio. So yeah, coaches, they want to coach. I know that the boop boop boop, the robot stuff is nice and kind of glamorous, but I don't know. It's obviously not 100% positive from the coaches publicly, right? This isn't just like a private kind of thing where they're like, yeah, it's still kind of, or like they're answering like, yeah, it's still kind of hard to get used to, but we're adjusting and we're trying to make the most of it. And again, like, these are coaches above a certain age, right? And I'm not trying to call them like old farts or anything like that. Like, these are obviously like still good coaches and like good at what they do. Like, Chuck Martin just won a MAC championship, but it is just interesting to watch that the immediate reaction publicly on this forum is not obviously 100% positive, and they're just like, it's a don't need it sort of situation. Like, why do we have all this stuff? We have pads, right? We have a ball, right? We have a clock. We're good. Lines are painted, right? All right, we're good. 5 things to look forward to in this game. Obviously, if you want a breakdown of like the rosters and whatnot, just go back on this feed. You will find plenty of hours to to listen to. Check out the positions, check out upcoming teams throughout the MAC, teams that EMU is avoiding, all that stuff. 5 things to look forward to in EMU at UMass. Number 1, and this should be a very, very obvious one. This should be, honestly, in my opinion, number 1 on everybody's list. The number 1 thing I'm looking forward to in this game, even though I will not be there in person, just getting back to watching live football, man. Yeah, I watched week 0. Yeah, I'm going to watch some games today. Yeah, I'm probably going to watch some games tomorrow too. But college football Saturday is when there is so much on TV, on streaming, on just all day from noon through 2 a.m. if Y's playing. Looking forward to just getting back to it, man. It is. I'm not going to watch every game like I never do, but bro, just getting back into the swing of the college football season, enjoying Saturdays, like the great season. It just really is. It's great watching on TV. Love doing that. But what is better than showing up to the yard and watching these boys hit each other? What is better than that? That is what I'm looking forward to. Not going to be able to totally enjoy the live part, like in-person sort of experience Saturday, since I'll be watching the game from home. And then I'll have some work to do for PFF. That kind of stinks. But stinks as in, like, you know, I don't know, a lot of stuff to do. But cool as in, like, I get to do it. But generally, this season, man, like, that's a sign that I'm going to be able to do that more often. I love doing that. Number two, breakout bound players at wide receiver. Marcus Allen, Wisconsin transfer. He's listed at junior college, but like he never played there. Like he was there like a couple months. Marcus Allen from Wisconsin, former 4-star receiver. Without JB Mitchell right now in the lineup, not sure what his situation is. Starting X receiver. Would not be surprised if, you know, Cole Snyder's going to try to air a couple out. Probably not going to be the game, but I think that's going to be a way to expand the playbook, a way for him to take multiple shots throughout the game, right? But at some points, he's going to have to go deep on the outsides. Marcus Allen, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got against this UMass defensive back room. Not a wide receiver, but I also have Blake Daniels, big-bodied tight end. You know, somebody that is going to be, if the passing game's improved, a bigger threat this season. Could he be a play-action target? Just simply put, could he be a play-action target? Because I think EMU is going to want to force some things on the ground game, try to get, you know, it's 2 new transfer receivers, 1 brand new, but 1 is a second-year transfer, right? Still didn't play a lot last year. Get him, Elijah Jackson Anderson, Delbert Mims as well from NC State. Get those guys just working. I think that's going to open up some possibilities through the play action. I think that might have to be the play there. So, Blake Daniels, he did play some last year. Did play, I think, all season, but didn't get a ton of targets. Obviously didn't get very many receptions either. Let's see him kind of start to break out here in small fashion. Breakout bound players at edge. Messiah Blair, I'm circling your name, man. I am circling it. I'm ready. Hey, let's see what you got. I think that Messiah Blair will end up being one of those guys that starts making a name for himself at a young age. I think he's going to be well developed at this point. Not listed as a defensive end, but somebody that could come off the edge. James DeJoncum, the transfer from Arizona State, wearing double nickels out there. I think he's somebody that probably has a lot of ability out there, somebody that has enough versatility to be listed at linebacker and do the coverage stuff, but also I don't think that's what he's best at. I think he's best at getting after the quarterback, fighting through tackles, fighting through a tight end. I think that's going to be his best calling card this year. Breakout bound players at a position we don't really talk about when it comes to breakouts. O-line, yep. Broderick Roman, somebody who's had a lot of trouble just staying on the field with health, but somebody who wants to break out in that regard, wants to break out of the cast, wants to break out of just being somebody who can't hold up for 12 games, somebody who can't hold up for half of a season, somebody that wants to lead an offensive line, and somebody that has to do it at the center position, no less. He's going to have to take control of that O-line. He's going to have to figure out what UMass and Don Brown, what they're throwing at them. I think that they're going to do a lot of different tricks, a lot of different stunts. I think they're not going to play just simple defensive football. I think that they are just going to throw the book at EMU's offensive line, and it's up to Roman to figure out the pieces. This is not an offensive line that he's like, hey, if he's not figuring it out, there's a third-year right tackle right there that's just waiting for him, because that guy's gone. Right? Brian Dooley, who was not 3 years, like he's started since like 2019. This is not an offensive line that has a ton of returning experience, at least starting wise. Sure, there's some with Revelinsky, a little bit with Chris Mayo too, a little bit with Roman. Not a lot. Like we're talking about what, 20 games started between those three guys right there. And honestly, just to put it frank with you, he's somebody that the offense's season sort of hinges on. Not to say that his backup Carson Lee can't get the job done if Roman goes down, but that's definitely not how you draw up a winning season, right? Is if your starting center goes down and your backup center can't play up to the level that you want your starter to be at throughout the season. Not projecting here. I'm just saying, like, that's a possibility, right? It's definitely a possibility. He needs to have a breakout game, but he also needs to have a breakout season. Mac Indestad has the or next to Chris Mayo's name at left tackle. Was a guy that probably could have played last year had he not had like a finger injury. So, or a hand injury. I don't really know exactly what it was. But Mac Indestad, looking for him as somebody that could be a breakout player on this offensive line. And then the number 5 thing on this list, I know I'm going through a lot of names. I'm not going to keep doing it like this throughout the season. But, you know, week 1, there's just a lot to be excited about, right? Is what's the running back usage going to look like? Now that we're in this post-Samson Evans, post-Jalen Jackson world, who's going to be the leader of this room? How often does the leader play? What about the backup? What kind of plays are they used in? How productive are they? Can they lead a charge? Can they lead an offense? Can they be a group of guys that you can really lean on? And yeah, the offensive line has a lot to say for their production, but can they be a group of guys that can make enough plays out there to lean on if something's amiss with the passing game? Is this a group that you can win games with? So, what does the usage look like? And how does the rest of this offense look like? I for one am pretty excited. This should be a pretty exciting watch. Nope, I did that. I lied to you. Not going to promise you that. Not going to promise you it's going to be an exciting watch. I can promise you this. It is going to be a hard-fought game. This is just two schools that are tired of being compared to being wimps, especially through the 2010s. They're tired of just that perception that both schools had for themselves. I think, especially in recent years for UMass, especially with last year's season opening win at New Mexico State, which went on to like a 10-5 record, and I don't think that this is going to be a football game that, no matter how this plays out, no matter how tight of a game, no matter no matter of like how high scoring this could be, because I don't even think this will be a high scoring game by any stretch. But I don't think that this is going to be the nation's favorite game to watch, nor do I think it really needs to be either. But I do think that continuing to play really, really good football between EMU and UMass will eventually lead to better action when that time comes around. And then when people look at their notes and they look at this series and they look at, how this game played out, usually it's just me doing this, but maybe if more people catch on at some point, maybe if this gets, hey, this should be a Tuesday game. This should be a game we want to watch on Wednesday. Maybe if this gets, hey, within the MAC, this is a really good series, level of recognition, then I think there's a lot to say for, hey, we're building into a national spotlight And we're guaranteeing good football between two schools called Eastern Michigan and UMass. Sure, that's crystal balling it. That's a little bit ahead of ourselves. And maybe I shouldn't get lost in that. Because what's in front of us is this Saturday. And you know what? What does that crystal ball say again? We're going to have a good football game on our hands. Will it get sloppy? Yeah, probably. But it's probably going to be really